Good morning. It is Real Estate Tips Tuesday, and this week's discussion is going to be about risk tolerance. Now, risk tolerance is prevalent in everybody's everyday lives, but I'm going to focus a little bit more on real estate risk tolerance. So, to understand risk tolerance more, I'm going to give you an example, and the COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately, is a good example of where you fall on the risk tolerance scale. So if you have a high risk tolerance, you're going to be on the high end, where this pandemic, if it hasn't affected you financially or health wise, then the pandemic doesn't really bother you. You don't care too much about contracting it, or you're not taking the precautions necessary to not contract it. You're just continuously going on your daily activities, and your hygiene hasn't really changed much. You're not really cleaning more. You're just doing exactly what you did before. You're just limited on what you can do when you go out and interact with the public. But if you're on the low risk tolerance scale, then you're kind of freaking out about this. So you're taking a little bit more precautions, or more precautions, actually, not a little bit more, but you're taking a lot of precautions. So you kind of self-isolated. You're cleaning more, you're washing your hands more, you're using PPE when you have to, and perhaps you're not even going out of your house. You're having all the necessities delivered to your door. But for most people, we all fall in between the high and the low. We understand the risk of the pandemic, and we understand why we should be limiting our contact out in the world, but we do understand that the statistics of getting the virus is kind of low, depending on what the numbers that you're looking at. But you're still taking all the precautions necessary when you go out and interact in the public. You're using your PPE, you're washing your hands more, you're cleaning surfaces more, and perhaps you're not even going to a lot other more places. You're kind of just limiting it to just the necessity items. So it's the same thing with real estate or investment in general. So if you have a high tolerance for risk, you're going to go for those big deals, either in real estate or the stock market or whatever your investment may be, because you have that high risk tolerance of high risk, high reward. But you also understand that it might not pan out and you could lose big. So high risk, high reward, but if you lose, it'll be a high loss. So, but if you're on the low end of the risk tolerance scale, you probably want to keep your investments pretty minimum. You don't, go out and get the big deals. You really stay to a minimum, maybe only contribute to your 401k, and you don't even really think about real estate as an investment because you just can't risk owning another property. But most people fall in the middle, where they don't really think that they can handle the big deal because of the loss side of it. But they can handle a little bit of risk, so they fall in between where they can actually do a deal and feel comfortable with the low reward part of it, with the low risk. If you would like to know where you fall on the risk scale, please contact me through my social pages. You can push the DM button down below and reach out to me, or you can email me and I can send you the quiz, and you can take that quiz and find out where you fall on the risk tolerance scale. And until next week, have a great rest of the week and stay safe and healthy out there.